And so that was my idea of love, was sex, and crazy sex and wild sex, and whatever I was watching on there, I was going to repeat. I would say my sexual addiction was the porn for so many years, from 10 to probably 15, and that this sex thing ain't love, it is power. Well, I'll sleep with your friend, so I get in bed with his friend and his girlfriend, then they have drugs, grabbed the pen, the hollow pen, snorted it up, the pen, and my life changed forever. See, we grew up in a country town. My dad's this redneck dad with a beard and a tractor. Before the beards were cool, my dad had a beard. So he was just country and redneck, and he was a logger and just worked all the time. So he really did the best he could with us. My mom left when I was 8 months old. She left me at my grandma's house on the porch with a letter that said, "I can't do this anymore." And I remember walking into kindergarten feeling like something was wrong with me. I knew that I was different than everybody there. Everybody else had their hair brushed and they were normal and had clothes, and here I was in boy clothes. My hair probably hadn't been brushed. I probably haven't been bathed in a few days. At that point, I'd already had an extra stepmom who had left. And, once you're abandoned, you just continue the trauma of abandonment. And so when my stepmom left, I felt like, what is wrong with me? The one person that's supposed to love me, my mother, didn't love me. The one person that's supposed to be there for me didn't love me. Now this other lady and her kids are gone, and nobody's telling me the reasons why. Nobody's letting me know why people are leaving me. I think my dad got a new stepmom like at 8 years old, and at that point we started going to my mom's in the summertime, and she had a new family. She had already another couple kids. So I had a stepdad there that, liked to spank me and yell at me and, do all the things because I was a defiant child, because I wanted attention. I was needy. I needed some affection that I couldn't get. See, as a little girl, when I was staying with my dad, he wouldn't even let us go into the bed with him because he was afraid that he would be called sexual abusing us. And, he wouldn't even get close to us. And so that created more abandonment. So when my dad won't even be cuddly with me or let me sleep in the bed when I'm scared or having a nightmare, what is wrong with me? I couldn't understand why I was dealt this life. So you take all that insecurities and abandonment and emptiness and hopelessness into middle school, and we all have our middle school conversations, right? We all have our, I want to sit at your table kind of conversations. Nope, you're ugly, you're nasty. And that's the things I would hear. So I felt ugly because I had an expectation that I wanted people to meet with me. I wanted them to love me that I've never been loved before, because I was missing my mom's love. I was missing a dad's love properly. And so I needed the people that are around me to fulfill that need, and they couldn't. And so when they wouldn't treat me like I was queen of the room, I felt disconnected. I felt bullied. Really, you feel bullied. You feel like you're less than. So this guy comes over and drops something off to my dad, and it was a movie, and I was like, "Dad, let me watch this movie." And it was a VHS, and I was like, "I want to watch it." And he's like, "No, this is adult stuff." And I was like, "Well, I'm an adult," because I was just so prideful. I was like, "I'm going to watch it." So the next day after school, I went into his room, and I was just, my heart was pounding, and I was just searching for that tape because I was like, I'm going to find it. I found it, and I stuck it into the VCR, and I remember hitting play for the first time, and I remember what came up on that screen was so vivid and so graphic that I knew it was wrong, but the way it made my body feel, it was so right to me. For the first time, I saw a mom and a dad loving each other, touching each other, hugging each other. And although I really didn't know exactly the full extent because I was so young, I was 10 years old, of what I was watching, I knew what it made me feel like. And so that was my idea of love, was sex and crazy sex and wild sex, and whatever I was watching on there, I was going to repeat So I would say my sexual addiction was the porn for so many years, from 10 to probably 15 before that ever came to realization. Like your body's so triggered by the shows and what you saw in the movies and what you saw them having sex, and you're reliving that all the time. And honestly, that's all I could think about day and night. It was really just my escape at night. Like it was really just how I coped with life. Like I just wanted to get home to my bedroom with just me. I didn't care about anybody else but myself. And so I just get addicted to masturbating, and I get addicted to pleasing myself. And it's so bad. So I would say, it had to be every night and multiple times a night. But then, when the boys started noticing me, I knew I could fulfill it in real life. But that connection, the kissing and the feelings and the exploring, that was a feeling that in that moment I could escape anything. And so I just began that journey of who, where, when can I get my fix? One day, somebody very close to my family, very close, came to my house and had this brand new truck. And I wanted to drive it because I wanted to be popular. I wanted to feel love. I wanted to look pretty, And I was like, let me drive your truck. And he's like, well, sleep with me. And I'm like, so at 16, sex was normal for me. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just get undressed and we'll just do this and I'll get to drive his truck, not a big deal. I get undressed and I'm laying there and he's on top of me. And in that moment, I feel his chest and the weight of it. And in that moment, I realized, I can't do this. What have I gotten myself into? How did my heartbreak lead to this and me to say yes to him to drive his truck? Am I a prostitute now? What do I do in this moment? And I said, no. And he's like, yes, we're doing that. And I just want to take a moment. That's rape. If you say no, I don't care if his penis is halfway in your vagina. You say no, he needs to get up and respect that. And in that moment, he just took advantage of the situation. And I just remember tears just rolling down my eyes. I could just still feel them. And he gets up and rattles his belt and puts his clothes back on. And of course, that was unfulfilling. But in that moment, I said, no guy will ever take advantage of me. I will hurt every one of them the way that the world has hurt me. And that this sex thing ain't love, it is power. So I graduate high school. Basketball was kind of my thing in high school, and sex apparently, sleeping around. But I get pregnant at 19, dating a guy a couple months, have my son. I'd never really thought about protection or getting pregnant or anything because I was invincible. I got pregnant and we moved in together and I had my son, and I was like, I am never going to do what my mom did to me. I'm never going to hurt my kid. And so I was going to play house and be the perfect mom and girlfriend that I could ever be. And that lasted until about 6 weeks. When my 6-week mark, when my body was healed from having my son, I went on a trip and slept with a random guy. And that was the first hit of my drug was men after having my son. And from then, the contentment was gone. From then, I was like, the home life was gone. From then, I was ready to go balling outside, get my drunk on, get my sex on, live my life. Well, I was living this double life at this time, and that lasted a couple months. And then I met this guy, and he was dark and lurid, I would say. He was just so enticing. And, I love the bands. I was a band groupie, and he was in a band and singing front. And I was like, well, he's going home with me because I could get anybody I wanted. All I had to do is, offer or give him the look, and I could get him, And so I ended up dating him, but he was different. He was different than anybody I dated. He was into some dark stuff, but I got bored. I was like, I'm gonna go find somebody else because it was the new, it was the catchy, it was the could I have him or could I have him, And then I would do it, but then I would make sure that the last guy still wanted me. It was all a game to me. It was all a sex game to me because I was looking for love and fulfillment. I I didn't know that, but I just wanted to hurt people. And he was the first person that wouldn't play my game. Like, I was like, you're taking me back. And we'd already planned this trip to Memphis in May for all these clubs, bands, and partying and drinking. And I'm like, well, I'll just go and get him back there. So I went with his friends and stayed in their room, and he was all by himself and still wouldn't take me back. And I'm like, well, I'll sleep with your friend. So I get in bed with his friend and his girlfriend. Then they have drugs. And I was like, what is that? And they're like, you don't want this. Like, you don't want, we promise. And I'm like, I want it. Because I was pissed. I was like, he's not taking me back. What else is going to fulfill me? So now seeing the drugs on the table, I knew, I was like, maybe this is the missing link. He wanted a drug addict girlfriend. And so then I was like, well, I'll just do that. And then I could get skinny. And it had all these benefits in my head in that moment. It was going to make my life happy. And so I walked over, I grabbed the pen, the hollow pen, snorted it up the pen, and my life changed forever. I stopped seeing my son. I stopped going home, signed over custody of him because all I want is drugs. How do you get drugs? You date the drug dealer. So I found a drug dealer that said he'd take me home, and he took me home and kept me high. And we lived somewhere, I don't even know where I lived, because all I was in this bedroom for 24 hours a day. He would bring me drugs home. I would have sex with him. It was a done deal. Like, keep me high. I don't want to feel a thing, because the high, you can't get that high again from the first time. And that's what you're chasing, and I couldn't get it. And so I'll just stay high and do what I'm good at, and then I'm sleeping every 5 days. I'm eating every 3 days. I'm sunk in craters. Who knows if I bathe? You just become the pictures that you see. You just become this dark, unhappy, the light goes dim person, and that's who I was becoming. And I wanted to get better, but I didn't know how, and nobody believed that I could. So when you get high, you're really, really high, and life is grand. But when you're coming down, you have further to come down and hit the ground. And so it would be like I was smacking my face on the pavement every time I would come down. That's why I never wanted to come down. But when I would come down, I would want my life to change. But when I would get high, I wouldn't want to change. And so it's like this bipolar roller coaster life that you're just entangled in. And it's a vicious cycle that you think will never end. That's why so many people kill themselves, because there's no way out. I'm 100 pounds. My fingernails are dirty. My hair's matted. I'm just trash. Like the people that you walk by on the street corner, I'm her. And I'm with the drug dealer. He has some drugs. I take too many of his drugs. He gets pissed and pulls out a knife, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you. And in that moment, for so many times I wanted to die, but in that moment, when he pulled a knife on me, it was the first time I'm like, hell no, I'm not going out like this. Like, I'm gonna live. Like, I'm not letting him take me out like this. So I literally balled up every bit of left energy I had in my little 100-pound body, been up for days, and I punched him and locked myself in the bathroom. And I just hear him banging on the door, screaming at me, come out, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill your effing A, in that bathroom. I was like, I've gotta do something different. And when you're in that trauma moment, all the flashbacks come back to you. Like my mom in the courtroom, the family friend on top of me, the boyfriend's breaking my heart, the getting pregnant, everything that I went through started flashing back, and I just started weeping. And I'm hearing him bang on the door, but it's almost like an out-of-body experience, because I'm just on my face weeping. And I just cry out, and I just say, God, if somehow you are real, there has to be more in my life than this. It was about 3 hours of him just going psychotic in the place, and I walked to a payphone, called my dad. And see, during this time, when I realized, when I One of the times when I realized that I had a problem is when my dad stopped talking to me. And no matter if us being close or not, he's still all I had. And the one person not talking to me could hurt me the most. And so I called him. I was like, Dad, I want to be better. And he'd been waiting on me to call. He'd been waiting on his baby girl to call him and to come home. And so he got there as fast as he could, and he put me in his car, and he took me to the local gas station where he walked in and told the cashier, because he goes in there every day, country town, and he told the lady, he goes, I got Jessica in the car. I got my girl. She's coming home. And the lady described me as something she'd never seen or smelled or in her life. She said I wouldn't even look up at her. I was so full of shame. My dad took me home, and I started to detox. And in that was horrific. The sweats, the shakes, the wanting to get high. About the third day, I was like, I'm going to get high, because it was easier to be high than to do something different. It was easy, and here I was again alone. My dad's working. I'm here 24/7 in the same room that I was hurt before. Here I was detoxing in that same room. In that moment, this lady from the local church brings me this bottle of lotion and a book, and I looked down at the journal and it said, don't quit. And there was only one person, me, and God, who knew that I was going to quit. And for the first time, I was seen. And for the first time, I felt loved and valued. And I knew that that was going to carry me no matter what happened from then on out. And so in that, when my worth grew, I started looking for better people to be around. I started beauty school. I started working. I started dating Christian guys. I was working and ended up meeting this guy, and he was different than anybody I'd ever met. Like, I was like, I'm about to put my spell on him. I'm about to show him who I am, and he wasn't the same. And for the first time, I didn't want to hurt him. For the first time, I didn't want to break his heart. For the first time, I didn't want to just use him. I didn't even want to have sex with him. Like, I wanted to make this special. And he introduced me to his family, who introduced me to different things and books and ideas. And I think we can never have a different life unless we're around different people that show us how to get the other life. I could never be the mom I never always wanted to be if I never was taught how to be the mom I always wanted to be. And so in that became the journey of becoming the one person I wanted to become, and that's just me. Like, I just wanted to be what I knew inside, deep down inside, I was searching for. I knew I could be loved, and I knew I could love, and I knew I could be something different. And I didn't have anybody to grab me by the hand and say, no, baby girl, let's get up. Let's don't live this life. Let's don't do this. I didn't have anybody to tell me I don't have to become her and give me a different direction. I didn't have anybody to say, you are worth more than this person. You are worth more than this trashy, trampy whore that you have become. And you are so much more than a drug whore. And you're so much more than what you have become. And it was just, I just didn't have anybody. I was screaming inside. I was hollering, help, help, help. Nobody came to help me. Nobody came to rescue. So guess what I'm doing? I'm rescuing people now. And no matter what I had done, and no matter what you have done, no matter where you are right now, you could be at the worst case scenario. He still loves us right there. He still loves you in that hotel room. He still loves the prostitute. He still loves the drug addict. He still loves the abuser that is abusing the children. He still loves all of us right where we are. And there is hope for every story.